This is the story of a small pantry garden. It was built by volunteers in Woodside and Sunnyside. The garden was built to be able to grow food for the local food pantry. What you can see here happening before your eyes is what the Parks Department just did on October 29th, 2020, by the way. They destroyed a pantry garden. 12 or 14 beds were painstakingly built, filled with composts, and planted by a local group of volunteers. So, wait, what's a pantry garden first? So that pantry garden was built and maintained by volunteers. It was made of raised beds that are planted with food crops mostly and a few flowers. We planted kale, Swiss chard, arugula, lettuce, a bunch of other stuff like scallion as well. And they were grown in order to be harvested at some point and be distributed through the local mutual aid pantry. The group has run a petition to get access to that land since the spring. The Parks Department did not give a satisfactory answer, actually, just poor excuses. So far, with our work on this land and other places, we have donated almost 450 pounds, actually now slightly over 450 pounds of fresh food, from salad greens to tomatoes, winter squash, and things of that sort during most of the summer and this fall until now. This 450 pound of food, they benefited people in need in both Woodside and Sunnyside through all of these food pantries. You're seeing here photos that we've taken during the harvests that we've done. And they've served our neighbor. You recognize here the 46th Street station, with the T-Mobile that you're going to see in a second. So now, why did we decide to grow food there? Well, this piece of city-owned land is vacant. It was supposed to become a playground or a public park, but there is no clear date when the city will start the construction of that playground or park. We are simply using the vacant lot to help neighbors in need in these hard times. It's not just a question of using the land, it's a question of food and racial justice. We are growing food for the pantry, and the pantry serves the people who are the hardest hit by COVID-19 caused crisis. We could simply grow food until the city is ready to break ground and build a park or that playground that's planned. And this is what we want to do. That piece of land just 2 months ago was basically a dump. You can see here there's a bunch of branches, logs, and intermingle into that you don't necessarily see in that small walking video. There was also trash. From this land, we removed 5 entire garbage bags on the day we cleaned it up. And then the subsequent times that we were in that small strip of land, we removed a little bit more than that. And so this is what we built instead of this intermingled branch and garbage and etc. and this awful scenery that you just saw a moment ago. This is what the city did. They came, they pulled all the plants first, and here you can see just being ceremoniously put into a pail. And then one by one, they pulled our grow beds. They pulled the plants that were going to feed people. And so here you're seeing the park destroying everything, destroying our work, and more importantly, I think, destroying what would have fed people. Now you see here the last of the grow beds being pulled off the ground with quite a bit of effort by the city parks employee. By the way, we don't necessarily blame these guys, the employees, the one who did the work. They did follow order though, and that's something important. They made that choice. But more importantly, the decision makers are the ones to blame. Why deciding to pull off beds full of compost, field of compost, and that were going to fill people? And now you see the results of their work. Just piles of compost, and that's it. But this is what it could have looked like. Bunch of raised bed gardens that can grow some flowers, lots of food for people around the neighborhood. I was reading New York Times a few days ago, and they estimate there is something like 1.5 million meals that are served to people in need. That's something that's really important. Could have been this peaceful place that grow food and helps our neighbors.